Hey.
You gotta leave a little space after the clap. That's too tight of a cut.
Hey. I'm excited. We got Chris Golden today, man.
The reigning Inspirational Country Music Association
Entertainer of the year. Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
That's right. Boy of William Lee Golden.
That's right.
From the famous Oak Ridge Boys.
Yes.
I think he's going to render for us, too.
He's going to render for us?
He's going to render. Going to render one.
Well, all righty.
He is on his Grateful tour. He's working like have you seen his schedule?
No.
I'm surprised he fit us in.
Well, what a treat and an honor, man.
He's got, 4 or 5 shows a week. Some
hard
people are
working
still
man.
working out there.
Some people are. Unlike us. We sit here and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we talk nice to him.
Yeah. I'll give him a big old wet one for Jen Smith. I know
Yeah, Jen loves him. He's a good dude, too.
He'd probably deck me right square in the kisser, too.
He's a big boy.
Yeah,
And you know them Golden.
I don't want to tumble with a Golden. No,
Do you remember them, the brothers? They kind of had that 80s rock vibe in country. They were like they were way before their time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good record. I mean, I remember they just had that one, but I think that it all, we'll talk to him about that though.
Yeah.
But that was a pretty good album.
Yeah.
Pretty good album.
I'll be interested here. I'm sure he's got a million stories.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Hey, Monty.
Yes, sir.
We have. Yes, it's back this week. The old Squatch Report is back. There's some movement in cryptid land.
Ooh.
Some trail cam down in Georgia. You saw that?
I saw that.
I did a little more digging on it. Some folks are saying it's a bobcat. If you turn it upside down, it kind of looks like it. But then the rest of the picture makes no sense. So they're kind of going back for it. Bobcat's the closest thing, but we'll let you guys check. Check this picture out here. What do you think about that?
Those eyes, man. I don't know.
Yeah, the eye. And it's funny because a lot of people say billy goat or goat, but the goats have the rectangle pupil.
Yeah.
So it's not even that.
Yeah. It's a very round, not even a cat eye.
I did see on Facebook where they turned it upside down and put it next to the other one. Similar, but then you can't explain the eyebrow. I mean, you can see and the hair.
And the ear?
In the ear. Well, they're saying that might have been cut off. Like a lot of times when those pictures get double exposed, they'll cut half the thing off and stuff. But of course, there's always logical explanations for everything.
Sure.
And of course, at the very top of it could be a hoax.
Could be CGI.
That's right.
You can't make that stuff.
But man, it's
anymore.
pretty dang good.
Pretty cool picture. Mm-hmm. It's entertaining to us anyway.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something though? I mean, and the fact that when they put those trail cams up, you put them up kind of high, So I mean, and this one was actually knocked out of the tree in the middle of the trail,
right? Which explains why the leaning over looking
right. And it's like, okay, first of all, what reached up there and knocked it down? That's that's the story behind it.
And it looks to me like it would be a younger one.
Yeah. Just playful.
Yeah.
So I remember the one that
Curiosity.
The one that my dad had the issues with. It was messing around at the pump house. Yeah, we got to tell all of our stories one of these days.
Just keep pulling the curtain back.
Right? Yeah.
People start going.
We don't want to go too deep. People will say, "Them boys have totally lost it now."
Hey, lost their freaking marbles.
Yeah.
We did that a long time ago.
If only they didn't happen. If only we could say it didn't happen.
Right.
Hey, let's get right to Chris.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, it's always thirsty weather, wherever or whenever. Neither rain or ice or dark or nice is gonna keep us from our rain. When it's hot, we need a cold one. When it's cold, we want a warm love. Yeah, Mother Nature is always in our favor. And right now it's thirsty weather.
Hey, who's this big dude here?
Hey, man.
What's up?
How are you?
Chris Golden.
Chris Golden.
Hey, man.
Fresh off his Grateful tour.
I'm still on it.
You're still on it.
Still on the Grateful tour.
Well, we're grateful you took time to come sit with us.
Grateful for the opportunity.
Well, we just found out some more stuff about you that we didn't know before we went to camera. But, you know, why don't you just go ahead and give our dozens of listeners and watchers the dime tour around Chris Golden.
Well, at least you didn't say both of our watchers, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Your mom and his mom.
That's right.
No,
Absolutely.
I'm kidding. No, man. I grew up a backstage baby. You know, I was born in Brewton, Alabama. And music brought our family to town in 1965. My dad was a paper. I was born the son of a paper mill worker and a grandson of a cotton farmer. And
who is your dad, for people that don't know?
my dad is the long white bearded one with the Oak Ridge Boys. William.
The long white bearded one.
Yeah, William Lee Golden, probably one of the most recognizable faces in country music definitely country music, but maybe all the music, and it's pretty wild. One of the most recognizable faces, and you never see his face, right? Anyhow, we was born in Brewton, Alabama, and we moved up here when I was about 2 years old. My dad joined the Oak Ridge Boys, so music was always around the house. My dad was pretty much gone a lot of the time. I was raised along with my two older brothers, mostly by my mom, because my dad was gone 250 days a year back then, at least. Wow. You know. And the gospel days, they were a gospel singing group long before they went country, and a lot of your viewers probably know that, but that's where they got, was all gospel. And we always had instruments around the house, and I guess I get asked this a lot, who my biggest musical influence was, but it was probably my brother Rusty, because he's 4 years older than I am. And he got a set of drums when he was younger, and I guess he was getting all the attention, so maybe I wanted some of that too. And I kind of I tried to be like him, basically. And
that's why you play everything, right? So you could.
Well, he plays a lot of stuff too. Yeah,
So
Rusty plays a lot of stuff too. He was a great drummer, and he was actually, when he was 12 and 13 years old, he went out on the road as a drummer for a group called the Singing Rambos, which was Dottie Rambo.
Yeah.
They were one of the biggest groups in gospel music. And
I didn't know he was with the Rambos.
Rusty was just a kid out there, man, and traveling with Dottie, Buck, and Reba, and playing drums with them and their band. And I guess when he, Rusty was the older brother, so he was in charge of the record player. And I was just lucky. I was blessed that he had great taste. So I grew up playing drums to the records. I've gotten to play drums with you on stage live, and I've just got to explain why I was always terrible at endings. All my favorite records faded. Right? So I was
wondering why you kept getting quiet. What is he doing?
I never learned to be. That was terrible at that.
He just quit playing. I don't know.
I could just hit that last note.
They
I'm
were
good.
not terrible. What you were up against, the times that we played together, I mean, you kicked ass, buddy.
Well, thank you. I was sure trying.
Yeah.
I was kicking something. Anyway, my brother, and I guess he moved over to the piano, and it was the type thing. I remember whenever we were fighting over the sticks one night, I'll never forget this, that my dad played a little bit of guitar, and he had an old Gibson. So actually, I think it's a 1949 or 50 Gibson that his father bought him when he was 11 years old.
Wow.
And 10 years old, and he used to play on my granddaddy Golden's radio show. My great-grandfather was a holiness preacher, but he played the fiddle, and he had a radio show called the Old Country Church Hour, and that's where my dad kind of got his start as a kid. My Aunt Lynette played the mandolin, and my dad played the guitar. And anyway, Dad took me up to the bedroom and said, "Hey, man, if you can only play one set of drums at a time, so if you learn how to play the guitar, maybe y'all could play together." So he taught me, a few chords on the guitar, and I was doing, Home on the Range and Hound Dog. I think that was my first two. And later on, Rusty went to the keyboards, and I'd play drums. And I saw him playing the keyboards, and I thought, man, I can do that too. Because we always had instruments around the house, but it always came easy for me. And I feel like it's a gift from God, because I never really, although I practiced a lot, I loved it, but it always came pretty easy for me. And my mama's side of the family, she never gets a lot of credit for that, but my mother was one of 8 brothers and sisters. And here just recently, I was hearing my dad tell the stories about how musical they were, and all 3 of her brothers looked like movie stars, and they sang great. Mm-hmm. She was one of 5 sisters. They all kind of played and sang, and their father played the fiddle.
Oh, wow.
He was a little Louisiana man. He was a little Cajun fiddler.
Trying to make a living.
And, yeah, and my daughter got my grandfather's fiddle, and she named it Crawdad because of the Cajun roots on that.
Awesome.
But anyhow, man, I grew up, doing the different bands. My brother and I played in different combos together, and I had combos with friends. We didn't call them bands back then; they were combos.
Combos,
yeah. So I had a couple of combos, and when I was 17 years old, 2 weeks out of high school, I joined up with a boys band. I had a deal on Electra Asylum Records, and we started touring and opening shows. I was really one of the only boys in that band, called the Boys Band. But I was blessed to be playing with a whole lot better players than I was, and I always seemed like I was always the worst one on the stage, and I was okay with that because I was getting to play with great players, and it makes you kind of step up when kind of like when you're on the stage with Alabama. It's
Absolutely.
like I got to play with you guys some, and it always kind of ups your game. And I've been so blessed in my life, man.
Oh, yeah.
I was playing in and out of bands with the boys band, and I joined a band from Canada for a couple of years. The boys band was going to take a year off and make a record, and I don't know, man. It was just, when you're 18 years old, it seemed like the wheels were turning too slow for me. So
Sure.
I joined a band from Canada for a couple of years, and had a lot of success up there on the radio, Cedar Creek.
Cedar Creek.
Right, and started doing some of my first songwriting then. Actually, Alabama had the first song I ever wrote on hold.
Really?
I took it to go to Larry Shell at Music Mill, and he said, man, I want to put this on hold. There was another group called Atlanta that cut that. I don't know if you remember those guys.
I remember Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they used to open their shows with it. But I wound up getting to sing it, and I made my singing debut. I'd been just playing in the background, playing instruments, but when I was 18, I made my singing debut on the hee-haw. So I was got to do a song that I wrote, and I did that song.
That's Chris Golden.
That's Chris Golden, and
On
Your
debut on Hee-Haw.
Yeah, it was my vocal debut.
That's awesome.
They were actually looking for a young guy. They had a lot of hee-haw honeys, but there was a lot of older guys there, and they were looking for a.
I know you could pass for a honey, maybe back
They
then.
were looking for a.
You old boys, y'all was pretty back then.
Well, back then.
Hey, we're gonna take a quick break.
Okay.
That's what the pizza buzzer's for there, to let us know. Because we're producerless again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when we come back, more of Chris Gold and
Hee-haw.
You're my one temptation, the one I can't refuse. My one and only weakness is you. If you ever tell me that I have to give you up, it's just gonna kill me, 'cause I can't live without your love.
We're back.
hey, look at that's a nice hat there, buddy.
Well, thank you.
That's the Chris Golden I know.
Hey, now.
right there. So this Dine Store tour that you're taking us on is turned into a quarter.
Man,
Well,
I
we
believe
just stopped
so.
at Hee-haw.
You know what's wild
We
is
debuted on Hee-haw.
yeah, we're just up to 18 years old now, man.
We're just at
Man,
18.
well, we got a lot of years to go. No, man, I have been so blessed in my life. I have. So, yeah, the Hee-haw thing was pretty cool. How that sort of came about was I had actually auditioned for a movie. Some lady come up to me. It was Ed Bruce's wife, who was a casting director at the time. And she said, have you ever thought about doing movies? And I said, all my life.
I've been acting the whole time.
Oh, I've been acting like a musician for years now. No, so anyway, I auditioned for a thing called, it would wound up being Val Kilmer's debut role. It was about a hillbilly, rockabilly singer, and she wound up doing the hee-haw thing. But how I got to be on that show singing was actually my screen test, which they wound up airing over and over and over. But I was doing auditioning to be one of their young guys on there. And the hay, I got to do haystack sting with Misty Road, and Victoria Hallman, and some of them honeys.
Yeah, in the hay with the honeys.
Yeah. They were older than me. Cougars. The hee-haw Cougars.
You were over 18 though, right?
Hey,
you
I
were
was
18 at the time.
legal. Yeah. Anyhow, man, after that, my brother and I was kind of doing a solo thing there for a little while. Started recording some, and my brother and I had Rusty was working on a project with Mark Spear. It was more of a rock and roll type band. They needed to put a band together for a gig they were doing here in Nashville, and asked me if I'd play drums on it. A lot of these bands I were in up to that point, I was playing drums, and so I did. It was called Golden Spear, and we did that for a little while, and that's where we met the guys down in Muscle Shoals. Nashville wasn't quite ready for what we were doing, so we thought, well, man, Muscle Shoals isn't that far, and we were blessed that Roger Hawkins and David Hood took us under their wing, and for those that don't know, they were one of the four faces of the Mount Rushmore of music down in Alabama. And Jimmy Johnson had a lot of other success. The late Jimmy Johnson, he just passed recently, and loved him. And his Uncle Dexter used to come by and tell us stories all the time. And Barry Beckett was up here at that time making great records with some country people, and I think they wanted to kind of get in on some of that, but they were going to co-produce us. And they took us under their wing and took us down to Muscle Shoals, and that's where I tell people that's where I got my master's degree, because they really taught us how to make records. And we got to spend a lot of time with those guys, and that was during the Golden Spear days. Well, as it went on, and we would write songs and record them and write more and record them and pitch them, write them, record them, and pitch them, and doing several showcases, and never could really get anything going on. So one time we went down there and recorded everything we knew in a day. They said, let's just record 35 songs or whatever, and just to get a feel. It was mostly live recording, recorded a live show, everything we knew basically. And they listened to those, and they picked 3 songs out, and I was singing 2 of them. And they said, it's got more of a country thing. You guys live in Nashville. So Golden Spear turned into something that it was not quite as rock and roll, because you hear my voice. I'm a little bit more country than and they wanted me to go out front, and it sort of became the Goldens, and we wound up doing a deal on Epic Records, which was CBS Records, and we recorded an album with them. And
which, by the way, if I can interject here, that was a great album. And it was, the Goldens, as a group, I thought you guys were great. Just, I don't know why it just didn't go, probably ahead of its time, I'm guessing.
Timing, it's one of those things.
But you folks should try to find it. The
one I'm talking about is unavailable.
Oh, that
it never got released. James Stroud produced it, and the label was excited, and we fell into that crack of, we were really excited, because whenever we turned our album in, we'd actually mixed it at Music Mill and with Stroud, and they said, man, they thought that album was bigger than Nashville, is what they said. We want you to go to L.A. and put a pop mix on this. So we went to L.A. to Richard Landis's home and studio, and went out there for a week to 10 days, and was working with the guys that engineered on the Steely Dan records and Gino records, and we thought we was going to,
Right.
And that album still sonically sounds great. It's a great sounding album, but it was a little bit too pop,
I'd
too
love
rock
to hear
but we toured. We had a good live show, and that was kind of from the old gospel days. And thank God for the Nashville Network and the Ralph Emery Show. We used to beg them to let us be on there, and they got to where they called us a lot when they had people fall out at the last minute. We were kind of a go-to, because we were, we loved to entertain, and it was it was a good fit for us to be on there, and it gave us exposure to places. So when we would go to, Carrollton, Georgia, they had seen us on television and thought we were somebody without big records going on, and it kind of helped keep us going until the next deal. On our deal, but by the time our singles started coming out, Sony bought CBS, and we were one of about a dozen people that got let go. We wound up over on Capitol Records, and that's the album that you heard.
That's the one that I heard.
And it was called Rush for Gold, and we did several videos for them. And but we kept the same band together for 9 years. But it was our live show that kept us going, and the television and the video stuff that kind of kept us going over those 9 years, man.
And I remember y'all on Ralph Emery too all the time.
Yeah.
What was that? Nashville Now. That's what it was called, right?
And I heard somebody say one time it was actually some dude named Bill Gaither. I don't know.
Some dude.
He said it was a great analogy. He said when Nashville Network went away, it was like Nashville cut the front porch off of the house.
Sure enough.
Because it was the front porch is where you wave to people that are passing by, and just like people flipping on that channel, it gave a great opportunity not only for the young acts like the Goldens and many others, the baby acts, but it also was a place for the Farron Youngs and the little Jimmy Dickens and the people that may not be able to get on
the Shotgun Reds.
Some of the older acts too that might not be able to get on the David Letterman show at the time, or Johnny Carson. But it also, you would have the bigger acts like Alan Jackson and Garth and these kind of people coming up on the show as well. So it was kind of a great show that showcased all the music.
That's right.
So
Yeah. Well,
I think the pizza's done.
I know. It shaped us. I mean, we were faithful watchers of that, man, and we were thinking, we're going there, man. We're going to Nashville.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to be on the Nashville Network?
No.
It would be the Cashville Network if it was equal.
I like the sound of that.
I want to something. Let's get a nice ring to it.
He's got beautiful words coming out of his mouth. We'll be back with more Chris.
If only you just say you'll come. I like to be one way or the other. I want somebody, please tell me what the bluest skies in Texas are haunting me tonight, like the stars that fill the midnight sky. Her memory fills my mind, and she doesn't think that I can hear her. She tries.
Back with more Chris Golden,
Hey now.
the Golden Boy.
Yeah. Where were we?
We're at the Golden.
The Goldens.
Okay, well, man.
And that criminally underrated album.
Well, it still sounds good.
That's when you know
I'll
you're
tell
ahead
ya.
of time, right?
We were, I was really, really proud of that music, and proud of the time that we spent together. And, it was kind of during a time we were in the studio recording when, hey, we're amongst friends here, so let's just tell the truth. My dad had, he had been with the Oak Ridge Boys since 1965, and he had hired every one of those guys. And it was during a time where they sort of pulled a coup on him and booted him out of the band for a little while. So it was his phone was ringing off the wall that day, and we said, "Hey man, come to the studio with us." And we got him to sing on a thing or two, and we wound up touring together. And what turned out to where you might think something bad had happened to the family, it wound up being the best thing that had ever happened to our family, because we finally got to take that family vacation we had never had.
Yeah.
And it lasted for 9 years. And we got to go tour the country together, and we had different booking agents. We had separate management, separate labels, but we toured together. And it was kind of like when Bob Dylan took the band with him, with Levon Helm and Robbie Robertson and those guys to come out when they were working with Bob Dylan. So we would go out there and we would do our thing, and then we would take a step back and then let Dad come out and shine. And it was kind of, we'd give it the old 1-2, you
Sure,
know.
sure.
And it was a great memories and great times. And part of that, during that time, also 2 of the guys that were in the band were Don Breland and Skip Mitchell, who had been with the Oaks Band. They had won Band of the Year from the ACM and the CMA. Those 2 guys had been in the band at that time. And we also got to tour with Greg Gordon, who had sang with the Imperials. He was with the Boys Band. He was, we had known him since we were kids, and he came to live with us when his parents died. So everybody we were on the road with, we were one big family, and it was the all for one, one for all. So the band was a big part of our thing that kept us together as long as we were. We kept the same band together for 9 years.
Wow.
But I started having babies instead of hits. And, you know, it's hard to feed them on dreams.
Yeah.
And during that time, the Oaks patched ways, and they asked my dad to come back. And Dad wanted me to come out there with him for a little while, and I started out playing acoustic guitar, mandolin, and harmonica with them. And I did that for a little while, and then something happened. I wound up on piano just for a little while. And then I wound up back on drums with them, and that lasted about 17 years. And I tell people, you know, that it was another great thing. I got to be with my dad and the guys that I had known. They were like my second fathers, you know, Dwayne, and known him all my life, and he had always had great advice for me for my music career, and always treated me like family. And same with the other guys, class outfit all the way. And
you were there for 17 years.
I was there for 17 years. But you know, I tell people they have such a strong work ethic.
Yeah.
And there are 4 lifestyles to maintain. So they work a lot.
That's dog years.
It's that it's that gospel work ethic, man. And I tell you, it's hard to complain about the schedule when those 4 guys are doing it. We're doing it right there with you, and it was a tough schedule. And they still out there doing 150 days a year.
Yeah.
My dad just turned 80, but I tell people, you know, it's hard to jump off a moving train.
That's right.
So I didn't really, you know, it was, you know, before I knew it, it had been a lot of years.
Right.
But I had never quit making albums the whole time I was there. Although I did play drums with those guys for a period of time, I continued to make solo albums. I had a little recording rig that I'd take out on the road, and it helped my time on the road pass. I would try to find quiet hotel rooms. The first thing I'd do is get in there and start listening for pipes or people coming down the hall, or see how quiet it was in a dressing room or wherever. And I would take this recording equipment with me everywhere I went. And if it was quiet enough, I'd drag it in there, and it made my days go by quicker to be working on a project and to get to play those other instruments that I love to play, and to get into sing, because I never lost my desire to sing. And I made several albums when I was out there with those guys on the road, solo albums, some critically acclaimed. I had some write-ups in Billboard magazine and this and that, and
I'd love to see the credits on recorded at, you know, there's the list, you know,
well,
Embassy Suites in St. Louis. You know, just go down the list there.
Well,
I get it, man. I've done that many times.
Yeah. But anyway, room 303, Cheyenne, Wyoming, you know. Truck stops of America. Shower stall 3. Go there for the reverb, right?
Right. Go there. Shower stall 3. We got to sample that one, man. Shower stall 3.
Yeah.
And now we've got this one here,
So
buddy.
it all kind of led up to this, man. About,
Yeah.
six or 7 years ago, I was on tour with the Oaks in Cerritos, California. And I had kind of an enlightening experience. I actually thought it was an angel that visited me. And I know people might think I'm crazy, but
Not here.
I believe in them. And,
Not here.
Anyway, it was basically play for the one that gave you the gift was the message that I had received that day. So I started making gospel albums, and it got me through the rest of the tour. I wrote that motto on my snare drum. It seemed to get me through the rest of the tour. I knew I was in a kind of a dark place at that time, but it sort of helped me get over that. And I asked them if they were an angel, you know. And they said, just a messenger. I said, well, that's what angels do. They deliver messages. So, hey, man. So I started playing and singing gospel music. Sometimes a man's got to take the long way around to come back to what means the most to him. And that's kind of what happened to me. And so I go out and I play and sing gospel, country gospel music now.
And this is the reigning Inspirational Country Music Association Entertainer of the Year.
Hey, now.
Right here.
Ah.
Yes, sir.
Ah. I'll take it.
Yes, sir.
I was really proud that this new song that we have called Grateful. On a last minute whim, I went down to our home farm. It's a cotton field it's the last farm in Alabama before you hit the Florida state line. And I shot that video on a shoestring budget and with some friends. And
cool video.
Kind of edited. Some of it I did myself. And with people that didn't really know that much about. Some of them knew a little bit about video. One of them did, but the rest of us didn't. But I hired a drone, and I had things in my head that I wanted to. I was trying to describe. We came back and edited it, and it got Video of the Year. I was really excited about that. Yeah, from 2 different deals there.
That's great.
I was excited about that. Yeah.
You gonna sing us one of the songs off this record today?
I will.
That'd be awesome.
Oh,
Come on, man.
I'll do it. Little goober.
When we come back, Chris is gonna render us a tune. Woo-hoo.
Okay.
I need you to pull me in. I just can't resist the temptation. So you got me sipping your sin.
Little front porch picking here, Chris Golden.
All right. You ready?
I think so, man.
Okay.
Get about some microphone here.
All right.
Thank you for letting me play.
Hey, I'm glad I wouldn't have it any other way.
What's this one called, man?
It's called Grateful.
Grateful, the title cut
song
off
my
this
new
fantastic
album.
CD.
We're going to be in the key of E.
Kiwi. Let's see.
I think.
Perfect.
Great. Sounds good, man. Here we go. A lot better than the other guy. Here we go. I think I'm out of tune. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
I went down to the church with my neighbor, 'cause I feel I had lost my way. The preacher said, son, you've been a stranger. Won't you think about the words I said today? And when your feet hit the floor in the morning, take a moment to be thankful for each breath. If you have someone to hold and you love them, let them know, 'cause you don't know how many days you're gonna get. And may the sun always shine through your window, and a song always play in your head. When you're looking back, I hope that you'll be thankful and grateful for the road that lies ahead. When the storms blow out power in the summer, light a candle and listen to the rain. When the weather turns cold, let your kids track in the snow, 'cause the truth is you're gonna miss it someday. And may the sun always shine through your window, and a song always play in
that you'll be thankful and grateful for the road that lies ahead. And may the sun always shine through your window, and a song always play in your head. When you're looking back, I hope that you'll be thankful and grateful for the road that lies ahead. When you're looking back, I hope that you'll be thankful and grateful for the road that lies ahead. Be grateful for the road that lies ahead. Yeah,
Chris Golden.
Kimo.
Man, what a great song.
Cool, man.
That is a great song.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you,
stuff.
man.
Chris Golden. He's Monty.
Hey, that's Kimo.
We have a podcast.
We do.
It's a web of podcast episode.
Yes.
Go to our YouTube, please, and subscribe. And then you ring the bell. What does that do when you ring the bell?
It means you get notifications. That way you'll never miss a second of this outstanding quality entertainment that we bring you. That we work so hard to do every week.
We've had great guests.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been awesome.
We've been awesome.
We've saved the shows. But
We've even had Blaylock.
We've had Blaylock, yes. Some great performances, live performances, no tuning, no nothing.
Oh my gosh.
This is people sitting on microphones singing and kicking butt.
There's no smoke and mirrors. I mean, it's raw and it's great.
That is the Cash Creek Club web series podcast, or as we call the Web and Podcast episode.
Right. That's right. On YouTube. Get there. Sign up. Subscribe. Join us. It's just a good time.
Man, Chris, that was a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Man, what a great
Thanks.
song.
Thanks for playing with
What a
me, man.
fantastic song.
Check out the video, YouTube it, whatever. Google it. Chris Golden Grateful.
The award-winning video.
It is indeed. Yeah. Blessed. Anyway, where were we, man?
I think we're getting ready to talk about Huckabee.
Well, no, we're going to lead up to that. We
ain't there
still
yet.
got about 10 years to go here,
Oh, my
man.
gosh, yeah. Let's do it. Dive in, brother.
We'll do it. Wrap it up.
What's the director? Oh, there's no director here. Take all the time you want.
So, man, we, playing with the Oaks, still made my own records and all that. And when it got down toward the end of I was in Minot, North Dakota, and it's kind of when Alabama sort of got back together. And we're getting back together. You were there.
Yeah.
And Teddy come over and watched our show. Yeah. Well, I had sent him a note that I don't know if he had ever gotten. I'd met Teddy in 1982 and had been around him a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. We knew each other a little bit, see each other at shows and whatnot. And he actually came to our house one time, and him and Dad hung out. They were buds for a little while there, and still are. But I'd sent him a note, and I knew they were getting back together. And I just like, hey, man, I do play drums, and I know that I kind of knew what the situation was, but I didn't know if they already had one or what. But I was like, I've been with these guys a long time. I wouldn't leave them for just anybody. But hey, that might be a pretty good fit. So anyway, I started playing some with Teddy's band, Rocket City, and I would sit in with them some. Then I had the opportunity to go fill in with them a couple of times, so that was a pretty big deal. And we got to sit in with some to play for some pretty cool people that went with every living president while I was there.
That's what was cool, is that we laughed about the fact that, you know, the gigs that you did were like the pristine ones.
Yeah,
Real cool.
Pretty cool. Got to play with every living president with this guy.
And then we did the current president's.
That's right.
thing
And he
too.
was watching us on stage, and I didn't get to meet him, but I did make eye contact with him. And I got to say, man, you know, when we were sitting there, I was looking at him, and he looked up at my hair, and I looked at his, and it was a hairspray admiration going on, I can tell you. Like, hey, he's a gospel man.
That's
Yeah, just like,
yeah, I know.
give me that. Hey,
Brother in spray.
Yeah,
man.
sir,
Brother
yeah.
in product.
yeah, yeah. I could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, no, that was pretty sweet time.
There.
I also got to play with another one of my favorite groups, man. During that time, I was actually had done already releasing gospel stuff and doing solo dates, and I had a few dates that I had left of the year, and I got a call from Larry Stewart with Restless Heart. Woo-hoo. And John Dietrich was having back issues, and I think he had back surgery. And I went out and filled in with Restless Heart for. I'm the fill-in guy. So I went out and filled in. I actually was filling in with the Oak Ridge Boys, but I just filled in for 17 years. But I got to fill in for John Dietrich and play all those great Restless Hearts hits. And I remember Larry calling me, and he said, "Man, I know you sing, but can you sing high?" And I said, "Well, it depends on the song. Sometimes."
Sometimes.
Yeah, but I got to do that for, 3 or 4 months there, and it was musical highlights for sure.
Yeah.
They were a great band, and they treated me like family, and love every one of those guys. And also highlight getting to go out there and fill in for y'all. Y'all always made me feel welcome, and I appreciate that.
Well, man,
So
you
I've kind of been on this solo journey since,
Yeah.
and enjoying every step,
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but it's rewarding.
Yeah, in fact, I think we can educate these people about the DIY musician.
Well,
With that story when you went back to your hometown.
it's super rewarding because you're working for yourself. And went back to my hometown, and they had asked me if I'd come speak for the Rotary Club. And it's business leaders in town and this and that. And I told them, I said, well, coming from a small town, I learned from an early age, because my dad was in music, that music is a business. And I learned a lot about the business side of it. I didn't know what to talk to these business leaders about, but right before I went up there, it would come clear to what I was going to talk about, because one of them that I had known all of my life had asked me, "Hey, man, when are you going to get a real job?" And I said, well, music, I learned at an early age that music, about the music business, and take care of the business. You got to take care of your business. And I told him, I said, well, man, in the last couple of weeks, I've been a booking agent, I've been a travel agent, I've been a publicist, I've been a promoter, I've been a record producer, I've been a musician, side man, I've been a web designer, a video editor, a videographer. I've been, try to keep the website going, this and that. And I said, I've also been a roadie, a sound man, a driver, catering, parties, catering. And I don't really know if I have time for another job, because
Well, every now and then you get to be a mechanic.
and every now and then I get to sing, every now and then I get to sing. So
That is
it's
the truth, man.
but it's rewarding.
Yeah.
And do you guys see how that Kimo does the David Letterman thing of sitting 2 feet above everybody else?
It's
Peering down upon
let me
high.
tell you what, it's not by design. It's by that couch is just about wore out.
Well, I'm glad to be sitting on it. with you.
Here. How's this? Is this better?
Yeah, sure.
Hey.
He's a big man anyway.
Let's give this thing away.
Let's do that.
Chris
All right.
has so graciously put this up for one of our subscribers.
That's right.
This is going to be yours.
The real trick of this is grabbing just one and being able to read it.
Yeah, for whatever
You got
reason.
your You got your reading glasses on? I left mine in the other. I can run and get them though.
Let's see.
You wouldn't mind just
Am I pulling it up?
grabbing one out of there?
Yeah. Nobody can read them, and we don't know why the print is so small.
Amanda Gilly.
Amanda Gilly! You're the first one to just crank that out. Like, you got the young eyes still.
Well, I couldn't read the name, but I recognize her face.
Oh, really?
I'm kidding. I have never.
Amanda Gilly.
I'm just kidding because I can't see her. I've never met you, Amanda. Maybe I have. I don't know. If I have, I apologize.
Well, Amanda, you are the proud owner.
But
of
I'll tell you what,
great
Amanda, if
CD.
you don't love this music, I will. I'll give you your money back. I'll buy it back
You're
from
gonna
you.
love it.
So, Amanda, you reach out to us at our socials, either at Facebook, Twitter, Insta, all that stuff, and you give us your info, and we will mail this thing off to you.
I've been I'm proud of all the music on that. It's my brand new album, and it's gotten some pretty good reviews. I've gotten a chance to go on the Mike Huckabee show and on the Huckabee show and do some of it. And I was just recently on Larry's Country Diner and did 4 songs.
All
off
right,
of it.
yeah.
Anyway, that stuff's out there if you want to see the live stuff, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're working to get him on our live version of Cash Creek Club, too, so all you guys be able to see him.
Yeah.
We'd be on.
Well, I'll look forward to it.
Chris Golden.
Kimo,
You
thank
the
you, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Jen
much.
Smith is gonna be dying. She's gonna be so happy to see this.
Jen,
We love her so much.
Yeah, boy. Yeah,
we love her
do.
too.
We're doing. Wait, what? Video time. Now? Got a mouthful of chaw. Trying to work on my. What are we doing this week for video time? Let's see. I can't even think. I don't know. It'll be a surprise. Have fun, guys. I hate this. I just want to play music.
Under the hood of a black Corvette, covered in grease, oil, and sweat, looking hot in that summer sun. Oh, baby makes my motor run. Four-wheeling, mudslinging, kicking up a little dust. That's the way it is with the two of us. Grass stains, backyard games, she can't get enough. She looks so sweet when she cleaned up pretty, but she turns me on when she's talking dirty. Out in the garden, digging in the dirt, God's green earth all over her shirt. The cut-off jeans and a red bandana. Oh, they're going good down in Alabama. Four-wheeling, mudslinging, kicking up a little dust. That's the way it is with the two of us. Grass stains, backyard games, she can't get enough. She looks so sweet when she cleaned up pretty, but she turns me on. Jason Roller on that guitar. She's washing down with a water hose. Comes out smelling like a rose. Like Billy Mitchell. Takes my hand, says my work is done. Oh, let's you and me go have some fun. Four-wheeling, mudslinging, kicking up a little dust. That's the way it is with the two of us.
Hey, y'all. Good stuff today,
Man.
huh? Yeah, that's good. Like old Chris.
Golden ray of sunshine.
Yeah, Chris Golden. And Amanda, he autographed it for you.
Yeah.
He put this.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Sweet man. Sweet
Yeah.
man.
Good stuff.
What a soul. What an adventure.
That's what we were talking about, how, he's, growing up the son of a famous person like that is, something we don't know.
No. No.
I know there's a lot of famous
different,
people, but yeah, it's a different deal, isn't it?
Different deal.
He's never not been William Lee's son.
Right. But he's about as grounded as any tree around this place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's good reason.
Life will do that to you, too.
Yeah. Yeah. The DIY musician thing never was that way, but now it is. You wear every hat there is.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, this guy right here, for your pleasure, puts in unbelievable hours, day and night, editing this stuff.
Oh,
And
me?
You.
I thought you were talking about Chris.
No.
Oh. Yeah, I do. I do. For the ungrateful. Oh, no. The fans know how we feel.
Try to give the guy props.
You know I'm just a jerk, man. I got to pull it out.
Jesus, man.
Isn't that weird how how you be uncomfortable, uncomfortable with praise?
Unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe.
People, it's so funny how humility is something that we admire in people and what we're supposed to be, even in our leaders. But instinctively, we follow the ones that are, the leaders that are strong and. But I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm saying how
what are you getting
it's
at?
strange how uncomfortable so many of us are with praise.
It's true.
And you never know how to respond. But you see those people that, thank you.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, what a jerk.
And by the way, I did this too. And this 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 and this.
I know. And
The humble man says,
Right, yeah. So,
But yeah, there's an
Thanks,
enormous
buddy.
amount of work that goes into this. Just this podcast. It's not including anything else that's going on in your world and our world, and hours upon
it's
hours.
a lot. It is a lot, but it is, like Chris said, very rewarding. Very rewarding when you get people that say, "Man, we look forward to every Tuesday."
Yeah.
Tuesdays are great. I mean, that's the kind of fuel. If it's not going to come monetarily, that kind of fuel is good for you, because you need something to strive you.
Talking about the get a real job thing, I've heard that my entire life.
Your entire life.
Entire
Yeah,
life.
right? Oh, Dick.
And you can tell them, well, I have a real job. I do this and this. Like Chris was rattling off, and I always get the, well, you making any money at it?
Right.
And I have to go, well.
Yeah, no, it is.
We just about keep the bills paid almost.
Yeah, but I will say it's almost like you can't even if you've got it in your blood, you're gonna do it. There's nothing that can stop you. I mean, the most miserable person I know in general are musicians and people that have the music in them that are doing a 9 to 5,
Sure,
or doing the cubicle.
right.
They're dying inside, just dying.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I understand not everybody can do it because they have commitments and responsibilities,
Right.
and
But there's that choice. When you have,
There's that choice.
as long as, I guess thankful we can meet our responsibilities, because as fathers and ex-husbands, the Lord provides, man, and you just keep on, you get in there and do the work. And so basically we're telling you all this to say, share this dang podcast with your friends. We want more subscribers, man. We need more viewers.
Shameless
Shameless
plug.
You know.
Nah.
Speaking of shameless plug, thank you though, Monty.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You. Thank you for calling.
Greatly appreciated.
I would never bring that up.
I know you wouldn't, so I'll do that for you.
But Chris Golden, he's got all the socials. He's got the Facebook. He's got the Twitter. He's
think are gonna
he's
show
got
up
the
all around.
YouTube. It's all showing up here.
Yeah.
But ChrisGolden.net. Chris with he spells it the right way, the Christian way. CHRIS.
Right.
Yeah. Chris Golden, as in golden ring. Oh look, 24 karat records for
Awesome.
Golden.
Golden.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
see?
clever. So yes, Amanda Gilly, this is yours.
Outstanding.
Tim Rushlow.
Coming up, we got to get out of here because
Oh wait,
it's already been done.
And we had a great time at the Pantillis gig 2 days from now, right?
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Rushlow's coming up tomorrow night.
It's not that soon. 2 weeks.
That's right.
Okay, you scared me for a
You
moment.
see, I can't keep track of this time warp thing.
The time travel. Did you set the pizza timer?
I did.
Okay, so we're still going good,
Yeah.
I guess.
We probably should just say adios, though.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
There was something else I was going to say.
I don't know.
I will.
Hey, good luck at the Josies tomorrow or this weekend.
Yeah, hope you did good.
Thanks. Me too.
Yeah, hey, thanks for nominating us this last weekend, Josie.
And the fans, thank you for the nominations.
That's right.
And if you're attending, you're going to see old Chris Golden. He'll be performing.
Right.
Yep.
And if we win, we want all of you to go up and accept our award.
Absolutely.
That'd be hilarious. Where's Cass Critical? I said, these people, that would be so funny.
Get it, crew.
Do it, guys. You have our responsibility. I mean, our responsibility. What the heck is the word? Our
honor?
no,
our
you
privilege?
have
Our
boy. There's no sleep around here.
There's
Monty.
no sleep around. What are you
sleep
trying
around
to
here.
say? You have
our
our permission?
permission.
There you go.
Permission. Woo, that's a tough word. Jeez.
All the others go
bad.
with it too.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Off work.